Hello, everybody. How are you folks doing? I'm your host, Jay Real, and unfortunately, my usual co host, my sister Kathy, will not be able to join us tonight. Uh, I got a message from her. She's having allergies or bothering her really badly. I talked to her briefly on video chat, and yeah, she was sneezing and having a rough time of it. So sorry, Kathy won't be able to join us tonight for our third music show. But I think what we'll do is we'll do like a just a hanging out video at a later time, and then Kathy can show the music that she picked for tonight. When she's feeling better. So that's the intention. But here I am by myself. I do not like to do these shows by myself. I will if I have to. Um, but I much prefer to have somebody joining me. And I've sent the link to a few people. I sent it to Jake. I haven't heard back from Jake. And I've sent the link to a few people to join me here live. Um, but if you're watching this and you think you might want to join in on this music talk, the third and I'm going to call it the final music show. Although, that's a subject that we could do several episodes of. But for now, we'll call this the the trio, the last one for now. Uh, Speaking about favorite bands, favorite solo artists, and I'm going to do more soundtracks tonight. Uh, and you know, music, speaking of soundtracks, music is kind of the soundtrack of our life. We grew up listening to music, and think about what you listened to as a kid, and then how that transition when you became an adult, the kind of music you listened to it when you became a teenager and then became an adult or whatever. How your music taste changed. And although you still listen to the old stuff too, uh, and found new artists and such, but yeah, music was always a big part of my life, and I'm sure for most people that are watching, you know, it's it was a big deal. The music you listened to was part of who you are. It helped it helped you become who you are. Music did. Uh, and your music tastes in the music you listen to. Uh, it helped develop you as a human being. You know, I don't want to overstate it, but I don't think that's overstating it. I think music is that, or at least it was that important in our lives. Now, in my late 50s, I still listen to music in the morning. I do usually do push-ups, and I have Alexa. I don't want to say it too loud, or she'll start talking to me.
Okay, but which language do you
Yeah, I
want me to
did.
translate
I
to?
did. She's talking. I should have. A there. Uh,
Okay, but which language do you want me to translate to?
Alexa, stop. Uh, anyway, I have her play what's called a My Likes and More, which she does a loop of music that I play frequently. So there's uh, Sex Pistols, Pretty Vacant, and a lot of Devo, and a lot of Eurythmics, and oh gosh, let's see, Danzig, Am I Human, and or not Am I Human, Am I Demon, Danzig, uh, and oh gosh, she plays the music, and I do my push-ups, and yeah, so music is still a big part of my life, but I don't feel it's not shaping who I am because like I say, I'm pushing 60, so I'll be 59 in September. So I am who I am. but music was a big part of who I became. So, and we'll talk. I guess I will by myself. I've got a bunch of vinyl here, so it's going to be mainly vinyl I show, uh, and talk about music. But once again, if you're watching this and you want to join me, uh, comment, let me know, and I'll put the link so you can join me live here because I would love to have someone to talk to live. Like I said, I will do this by myself, but I much prefer having someone to talk to. And it's a pity that Kathy's not able to join me tonight. But we will muddle through. Speaking of music, I'm showing off my Beatles Yellow Submarine shirt that I got from Temu a few days ago. Isn't this the coolest thing? I love this movie, Yellow Submarine. It's animated, uh, and the Beatles, of course, Beatles music, and just I think it's a great movie, Yellow Submarine. And when I saw they had a Yellow Submarine shirt, I said, "Oh my God, I gotta have that!" So I got it from Temu, and I got a pen, got a Yellow Submarine pen. Isn't that cool? Any of you guys out there watching have seen the movie Yellow Submarine? Because it's in late '60s, I believe, something like that. Very psychedelic, very sort of surreal, very colorful. You got the blue meanies and the no, he's a real nowhere man. And but great Beatles music. I don't think the Beatles themselves did the voices for the characters, the Beatles characters in the movie, but they appear at the very end. The Beatles appear at the very end. I've got a hole in my pocket. But anyway, my Yellow Submarine shirt. Oh gosh, I love this. And someone had commented on a previous show. Does he ever wear clothes? Yes, I wear clothes, and yes, I'm exposing part of my body here because it's hot. And I've got a window AC in this old trailer house, and it's summertime in Texas, and I don't do this to show myself off. I do this for comfort. So, but yes, I wear clothes. But speaking of clothes, let me show my Pringles boxer briefs. Yeah. And yeah, as far as showing my body off, I've been working on this body. I've been, this is I'm like I said, I'm about to turn 59, and for a 59-year-old, come on now, got the chest going. I do what's called dips and push-ups, and I do chin-ups. So yeah, I'm working on this. And like I say, for someone that's pushing 59 years old, well, I think I got something to show off here. You know, you got to put it in perspective. Like I say, I'm old. I'm pretty damn old, but got to working on the guns there. Look at that. Yeah, I don't want to rip my Yellow Submarine shirt. But yeah, so I'll brag a little bit. I've been working on this old body. Uh, but I don't do this to show my body off. I do this for comfort. Having my shirt open and then being in my boxer briefs. I'm not trying to brag on, well, I brag on what I got a little bit. Like I say, uh, compared to most 59-year-old men that you're liable to run across, I think I'm doing pretty good. So, uh, but yeah, and I don't see any, I see one person, and that one person may be me. So, uh, we don't have a crowd yet. I don't know if we're going to get a crowd tonight, but it's Friday night, and folks are out they're going out to eat and they're enjoying themselves and they're off work and yeah, so I can understand why we wouldn't have a big crowd tonight, but we will continue on, or I will, and I'll actually start talking about music here pretty soon. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say before I start with the actual subject. Um, like I say, it's summertime in Texas. Although it's hot, but it's not. it's not as hot as it could be, you know, because this time of year, July, because heat index can get it to like 110 degrees and such, and it was just a few days ago. But it's been some spotty showers. We didn't have any, but they're kind of close by. There's been some spotty showers, and it's tempered the temperature a little bit. It's in the upper 90s, but at least it isn't over 100 degrees. So, you got to take what you can get in this part of Texas. As far as that. And my neighbors next door invited me over for chili dogs and homemade ice cream yesterday, and man, that was good. And they make Big Red ice cream. Yeah, ice cream made with Big Red. And oh my gosh, it's good. Oh, homemade ice cream made in a churn. Oh man, that's good stuff. So I don't think they watch my show, but anyway, I'll thank them anyway. The Loves, that's their name, Love, their last name. So thank you guys, even though you're not watching. But thank you guys for the chili dogs and homemade Big Red ice cream. Oh man, that was good. And this time of year, that ice cream was just paradise. So, but okay, music. And since it's just going to be me, apparently, but I see zero now. Don't have anybody in here. Yeah, Friday night. Okay, I understand, but hopefully, folks are going to tune into this later on. We've been getting some pretty good views for the last few shows. And again, as people tune in later, and as always, I would ask you guys, please give us a thumbs up. Click that thumbs up there. That helps us to get seen, helps us, people to see the show. And if you like what you see, if you would spread the word, let other people know about the Being Real show, something to check out, because I want to get some new people joining the channel and stuff. But I'm really pleased with how things are going. Yeah, we're not breaking any kind of records, a few hundred views, but I'm pleased with that. But there's nowhere else to go but up. So, but thank you guys, everyone that's been watching. And like I say, if you give us a thumbs up, sure appreciate that. And okay, music. And I am going to start. Like I say, it's all vinyl I've got here. I was going to North Texas State University at the time when this album came out. It later became the University of North Texas, and I think that's what it is now. It's in Denton, Texas, in Dallas area, near Dallas. And when this album came out, and of course, growing up, Simon and Garfunkel, hello darkness, my old friend. And oh gosh, all these Simon and Garfunkel songs. And of course I knew Paul Simon as a solo artist too. What is it? 50 ways to leave your lover. How many ways is it? Is it 50 ways? And make a new plan, Stan. Don't need to be Coy Roy. But when this album came out, it was a big deal. It was real popular. I think it was like the #1 album for several weeks in a row. Anyway, Graceland. Paul Simon, Graceland. I'm going to Graceland, Memphis, Tennessee. And he did... He had a bunch of musicians from South Africa participating in the album. Singers and musicians from South Africa. So it's very heavily influenced by South Africa, Graceland. But it's got some great music. Of course, the song Graceland and Diamonds on the Sole of Her Shoes. I love that song. And You Can Call Me Al. I love that. I love that song, and great video. You Can Call Me Al. But anyway, great album, Graceland, and like I say, what he did with the South African artists and such, and just really good music. It's one of the best singer songwriters there ever was Paul Simon. Of course, with the stuff he did with Art Garfunkel, Simon and Garfunkel, but the stuff he did solo, just great stuff. And he put out an album, I think, like last year, and 12 songs or something like that. Anyway, he's still putting music out. Paul Simon, Graceland, yeah. But yeah, look that up. Look up the videos from Graceland, and the song "You Can Call Me Al" has got Chevy Chase in it, lip syncing next to Paul Simon, lip syncing the song. Got Chevy Chase. But anyway, now this one I'll do for kind of the fun of it. I grew up. I learned to read. I learned my ABCs before I ever entered the first grade. I knew my ABCs. I could count up to, I don't know if I could count up to 100, but I could count pretty high. And a lot of that was because of Sesame Street. And right after Sesame Street, there was this guy, Mr. Rogers, won't you be my neighbor? Old Fred Rogers and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And, he welcomed you into his home and he sang to you, won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please, please won't you be my neighbor? And it's got that song on here. But anyway, it's an album of Mr. Rogers singing. And, yeah. And I think it's got the lyrics on the back. Yeah, Mr. Rogers. So anyway, I want to show that off. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Yeah. Okay. First soundtrack. I haven't been showing soundtracks lately. I intended to show soundtracks tonight. And the movie Death Wish with Charles Bronson, where the like some rapist, I think, kill his wife, and he goes on a rampage. And they've made several sequels. I love Death Wish 3. It's just so over the top and campy and just kind of ridiculous, but it's so over the top that I love Death Wish 3. That was one back in the VHS days that I would rent just to watch Death Wish 3 because it was almost so bad it's good kind of movie, But like I say, it was just so extreme, and explosions and all that, and old Charles Bronson. But anyway, this is the soundtrack to Death Wish 2. Yeah. And it's by Jimmy Page, the guitarist for Led Zeppelin. Yeah. He did the soundtrack for Death Wish 2. And it's great music. And of course, like I say, Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin, one of the greatest guitarists ever. But anyway, and back in the day, when they discounted a record, they would cut a little notch in the top of it. See that little notch? That meant this was a discount album. So I probably paid about $3 for this. But I feel like there's something in here. Let me see what there might be in here. But anyway, it's the soundtrack to Death Wish 2. I hung on to a bunch of stuff. I used to have a whole bunch of soundtracks. I got rid of a lot of them. Sold a bunch of them. But well, I'm trying to figure something out here. It's actually got, speaking of Led Zeppelin, it's actually got Houses of the Holy in here too, the album, Houses of the Holy. So, but anyway, yeah. Soundtrack to Death Wish 2. So, but I used to have, I think I had over 100 soundtracks. I sold a bunch of them. They used to be like stores that would buy vinyl, uh, and like in Houston and Waco and such. And my friend Mark, I would ride because he lived in Houston, and so I would go with him and take a bunch of vinyl and sell them at these record stores. But I hung on to quite a few. I've hung on to a lot of vinyl, but I used to have twice or three times as many than I do now. So, okay. Let's see what's next. Okay, another soundtrack. And I don't know if these are worth any money, but these are all original. These are not reprints. This is all bought when the movie came out, and I hung on to them. And old John Williams, and it's the soundtrack to Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah. Isn't that cool? Isn't that the coolest cover, though? Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah. And like I say, John Williams. But anyway, yeah. Raiders of the Lost Ark. John Williams. There was a lot of great, uh, composers back then that composed music for movies. But probably the greatest was John Williams. Of course, he did Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T. He did most of Steven Spielberg's stuff, and Superman the movie. I went to a lot of those. I'm going to show here pretty soon. But yeah, John Williams, and Jerry Goldsmith, and I've got some Jerry Goldsmith I'm going to show here too. Great composers for movie soundtracks. So anyway, yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay, just a minute. I have to be careful with this one because there's some nudity involved. But anyway, who all's in this? It's Blind Faith, and it's Eric Clapton, Steve Winwood, let's see. Anyway, let's just. There's more, but I won't name those two. I think there's three of them or four. But anyway, Eric Clapton and Steve Winwood are two of the main ones in Blind Faith. And I showed this on the vinyl show, but I'm going to show this again, and I'm going to cover up the cover. Hopefully I'm covering up the private parts here. But this is an 11-year-old girl. Yeah. Which understandably was pretty controversial at the time when this album came out, Blind Faith. To have this 11-year-old girl topless on the cover of this album. Great music, but, this cover is, yeah. Pretty well. I mean, I can certainly understand why it would be controversial. And they put out this same album with a different cover, with just the band on the cover. I think after complaints and the hoopla that came out because of this, you've got this basically a kid, topless on the cover of this album. But yeah, Blind Faith. Great music. Like I say, Eric Clapton, Steve Winwood, and I forget who the other musicians that are in it. Is there anyone else watching? I still see one. I see one again. Yeah, we're getting a small crowd tonight, but like I say, we'll continue. But yeah, Blind Faith, great album, and like I say, and controversial for that cover with an 11-year-old girl. Once again, John Williams. Man, I played the living hell out of this album. And it's two albums. Great movie. All these Marvel movies that are coming out and DC movies and stuff. I don't watch hardly any of those. they're just, I don't know, they're cartoons to me, and I mean, I guess some of them are okay or enjoyable, and there's a few that I like, but I don't watch a lot of them. But back in the day, this kind of broke the ground for comic book movies and a comic book hero, and that was Superman the movie. And this is what's called a gatefold, and it opens up, and there he is. There's Superman. Yep. Yeah. And but anyway, this is Christopher Reeve. Margot Kidder plays Lois Lane. It's got Gene Hackman's in it as Lex Luthor, and of course at the beginning of the movie, you've got the planet Krypton about to explode, and the father of Superman is telling everyone, "Look, this planet's about to go," and no one believes him, and well, it does. So they send their son off into space, send him to Earth to escape Krypton, which is about to explode. But anyway, who plays the father? It would be Marlon Brando. Yeah, Marlon Brando played the father. So, Superman the movie. Yeah, John Williams. And continuing on a John Williams track, and here's another one that I played, just pretty much wore the grooves off. And another gatefold. I'll go ahead and open it up. And of course, Star Wars. John Williams and the London Symphony Orchestra. There's Darth Vader on the back. Yeah, Star Wars. You can see the outline of the record there. This is, like I say, these are all original. This came from 1977 when the movie came out. So, yeah. And I think I have another one. I may have one or two more copies of Star Wars on vinyl. But yeah, Star Wars. And once again, John Williams and, iconic music. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Another soundtrack. And I spoke of Jerry Goldsmith. And hang on just a minute. Hang on. Just a minute. But yeah, Jerry Goldsmith. I kind of put him just almost right up there with John Williams. It's just great composer, and he was real good at conveying the mood of the scenes, and I put him right up there with John Williams and just being one of the greatest composers there were of movie soundtracks. And this is the soundtrack for Alien. Yeah. Alien. And what was this, 80, 81? When did this come out? But yeah, Alien, Jerry Goldsmith. And man, this is in really good shape. I kept a lot of these albums in really good shape. And considering how old the album is, and once again, Jerry Goldsmith. They're here. Poltergeist. Soundtrack to Poltergeist. Yeah. Tobe Hooper directed, Steven Spielberg produced. And there was people, and even me, I said this and still say it, I wonder how much of it Tobe Hooper actually directed. Of course, he's the director of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and several other movies. But it looks and feels like a Spielberg film. And of course, he produced it. But at the time, Spielberg, I think, was directing E.T. So he didn't really have a lot of time to direct this damn thing. But it looks like a Spielberg movie. So I'm wondering how big of a hand Spielberg had in the making of this movie. But anyway, we're talking about music here. And it's great music, great atmospheric music for Poltergeist. Yeah. Okay. Let me get away from soundtracks for a moment. And I'm trying to think the first time I saw this group. And I believe I didn't have MTV back in the day. But there was a show called Friday Night Videos. And I think the local station, Channel 10, CBS. On Friday nights, like tonight, 7 or 8 o'clock, Friday night videos, and they'd show videos, music videos. And I think that's when I first saw this group. And I saw this guy coming out, the skinny guy, and he was gyrating. And, you may ask yourself, or you may find yourself living in a shotgun shack. You may find yourself in another part of the world. You may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile. You may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife. And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here? And Talking Heads. And this is the concert, Stop Making Sense. That one of the greatest musical concerts, filmed concerts ever made is Stop Making Sense. If you think you're just vaguely interested in Talking Heads, look up this film, Stop Making Sense, and it's a filmed concert of Talking Heads, and it's one of the best. Jonathan Demme directed it. I think didn't he direct Silence of the Lambs? I think, and other movies. But anyway, Stop Making Sense, and old David Byrne, doing the yeah, and he was something to behold, old David Byrne, and still makes music. He did a concert tour with some musicians that wasn't Talking Heads, but he would do Talking Heads music and a lot of his solo stuff. But really good music. But anyway, yeah, Stop Making Sense and Talking Heads. Love their music, love their style, love David Byrne's style. Kind of almost performance art kind of music. Sometimes it gets a little surreal, but very catchy and very rhythmic. Great band and great artist, David Byrne. And he put out some good solo stuff too. But him with Talking Heads is great stuff. Great stuff. Okay. All right. Now this, once again, I'm not sure where I first saw this lady. It might have been on Friday Night Videos. But talk about surreal and performance art. Kind of taking music and taking the physical presence of the artist and combining music with visuals, style. And anyway, Laurie Anderson, Big Science. And she's got this song that's on this album. And here she is. She plays the violin. She plays violin. She's still alive. Yeah, she still performs. She's got this kind of short, spiky hair. Yeah. Big Science. And very kind of surreal music, what I call performance art, where her music and her stage shows were performances. she'd play a violin, and like the bow of the violin would be, would glow, and she would, have these kind of sound effects and stuff that she would have going on. Yeah, uh, it's kind of weird stuff, but I love Big Science and the song "Old Superman." And what you start off and you hear this ha 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 ha, and it's looped ha 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 ha, and it's her, "Oh Superman, oh Judge, oh Mom and Dad, ha 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 ha." But anyway, that song actually made the charts. It's a very weird song, but look it up. Look up "Oh Superman." Look up the video for that on YouTube. And Laurie Anderson. But anyway, yeah, weird stuff. But I always tended to like the weird stuff. That's why I'm a big Devo fan. David Bowie, David Bowie fan. Um, and yeah, Laurie Anderson. Yeah. Okay. Uh, uh, we did one of the music shows. I think it was the second one. Kathy is a huge Prince fan. She was just devastated when he passed away. She saw him perform live twice with my niece April, um, and of course you go and watch that show and hear her talk about Prince. I love Prince too. Loved his music. I have several of his albums on vinyl. Uh, Great guitarist, great musician, uh, great music. But yeah, Kathy was, uh, kind of married to the man spiritually, Prince. But anyway, he often would write music for other musicians, and there's other musicians would perform Prince songs, and he had tried to get this group called, I believe it's called The Family, and tried to get them popular, but they didn't become popular. I think they put out one album, and I think that was it. But it was a Prince, kind of Prince proteges, The Family. And one of the songs on the Family album was "Nothing Compares to You." And then later, this lady made a big hit out of that song, Sinead O'Connor. And this is the album, "I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got." I do not want what I haven't got. I like that sentiment. Yeah, that's a good way to be. You don't want what you haven't got. And how many people live that kind of philosophy, that they don't want what they haven't got? I mean, there's things that I'd like to have. I want to make another movie. I've got the script written, and I'm trying to get the people to read my script. And I bought a new camera, which I still haven't taken out of the box. I still haven't charged the battery on the damn thing. I've had it for like 2 months now. But I hope to make that movie, The List. But there's things that I want. But I do not want what I haven't got. But her performance of "Nothing Compares to You" is just beautiful. It's just, it just grips you by the heart. The video she does for that, she's bald. She had shaved her head. She's bald. Sinead O'Connor. At one point, you see a tear roll down her cheek. It's just, that grips me every time I see it. And as an artist, I like several of her music, several of her songs. Sinead O'Connor. Now, she was kind of, controversial. I think she ripped up a picture of the Pope on Saturday Night Live, that kind of stuff. I don't hold that against her. I still really like her music. I like her singing. Loved her voice. She passed away, I think, last year, Sinead O'Connor, which is a pity. But anyway, this is I do not want what I haven't got, and this one has got Nothing Compares to You, which is just a beautiful song. It's a great song anyway, but her performance of it is great. Um, so yeah, Sinead O'Connor. Okay, here's one. This is a comedy album, and let me see if I've got it here because I want to sing the song. Y'all don't want to hear me sing, but I love the song. Okay, and on PBS, the local PBS station, uh, they showed a lot of British comedy, you know, and when I first started seeing these comedians, I was just instantly hooked. You know, just very absurd humor, but it just it was like it was made for me. That their type of humor was just custom made for me, and that was Monty Python. And this is the Monty Python Instant Record Collection, and it's got a lot of tracks from movies like Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail. And it's got some, it's got some sketches that they've done, Crunchy Frog, The Cheese Shop, sit on my face, and tell me that you love me. Pet Shop. But anyway, it's got the song from Monty Python and the Holy Grail that I want to kind of not really perform here, but at one point, and it's it's during the Knights era, the era of the Knights, and and armor and such, and the what is it, King of the Britons, Arthur, King of the Britons, and at one point, him and his group, they're searching for the Holy Grail, which is the cup that Jesus, when he Jesus drank out of the Holy Grail. And anyway, at one point they come upon Camelot. And then there's Arthur, King of the Britons. He said, I welcome you to our new home. We shall ride to Camelot. And then this song pops up, and the song is on this album, this Instant Record Collection album. But anyway, we're not to the round table. We dance whenever able. We do routines and chorus scenes with footwork impeccable. We dine well here in Camelot. We eat ham and jam and spamalot. We're not to the round table. Our shows are formidable. But many times we're given rhymes that are quite unsingable. We're opera mad in Camelot. We sing from the diaphragm a lot. In war, we're tough and able, quite indefatigable. Between our quests, we seek when best and impersonate Clark Gable. It's a busy life in Camelot. I have to push the pram a lot. On second thought, let's not go to Camelot. It is a silly place. And that last line, I have to push the pram a lot. Well, a pram was a baby carriage. Yeah, in Britain. That's what a pram is. I have to push the pram. So, okay, I had to get silly there, but anyway. Monty Python. So, okay, let's see. I don't know if I brought this group up before or not. I don't remember, but I'm going to bring it up now. My friend Mark, he passed away in 2010, and he was dealing with some, what's called depression. He took medication for it, and we drifted apart there in the later years. But we used to be the best friends in the world. We did the show Chet Cheddar's Tales from the Morgue. We did for National Public Radio, which you can go to uh, archive.org, and you can look that up. It's free downloads of the show that I did with Mark. Chet Cheddar's Tales from the Morgue. But anyway, speaking of Mark, he was a huge fan of this group. And he sort of introduced me to this group. And I became a fan because of him. Rush. Yeah. And this is the Moving Pictures album, which probably is their most popular album. It's got Tom Sawyer. A modern day warrior's mean, mean pride. Today's Tom Sawyer's mean, mean pride. Or something like that. I forget the song. But anyway, Tom Sawyer. Great music from Canada. They're Canadians. Great guitar work. Geddy Lee, the lead singer, would sing in this high falsetto, particularly during the early years, real high pitched voice, Geddy Lee. And he played bass. He's one of the best bass players at the time, Geddy Lee. But yeah, Rush. From Canada. Okay. Let's go back to soundtrack. And we don't have a group tonight. I have people that kind of come and go. I'll see one, and then they'll disappear. So, but anyway, if you're watching this, speak up, and I still have time. Anybody wants to join me, because it'd be cool to have. I don't like doing this by myself. I'm doing it by myself, but I don't like to do this by myself. I like to have someone to talk to while I'm doing this. But okay. But anyway, another soundtrack, another gatefold. Can I open it? Let me see. It wants to stick together, so hang on. Yeah, this ain't going to want to open up for me. But anyway, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Yeah. I think I have another copy of this on vinyl that's in better shape. But anyway, this one's kind of beat up. Like I said, this is from back in the day. This is from the day that when it came on. Was it 78, I think? Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I think it was Spielberg's next film after Jaws was Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And once again, John Williams did the music. Great music. Yeah. Okay, another soundtrack. And I remember so clearly. I was eating at Pizza Hut in Bahia with my mother. And it was just me and her. And we were eating lunch, I believe, at Pizza Hut. Now, back in the day, we had a store called Safeway. And it sold vinyl records. It was a grocery store, but it sold vinyl records. They had a section of vinyl records. And that's where I got Blues Brothers, Briefcase Full of Blues, which I think I showed on a previous show. That's where I got that. I got Steve Martin's Wild and Crazy Guy. Several albums I got at the Safeway in Bahia. But I remember so clearly being at Pizza Hut in Bahia and asking my mother if she would buy this for me. I think I had seen the movie. I don't know if I saw it at Bahia Theater or saw it with my friend Mark, like in Waco or something. But anyway, my mother, bless her heart, she said, yeah, Jay, I'll get it. Grease. Yep, Grease. And soundtrack to Grease. Yep. And John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. Soundtrack to Grease. Great music. Of course, Grease Lightning. The first song, Frankie Valli, Grease. Grease is the word. Grease is the word. Hopelessly Devoted to You. You're the One That I Want. And Beauty School Dropout. Look at Me, I'm Sandra Dee. Grease Lightning, go Grease Lightning. Uh, but anyway, a lot of Sha Na Na has a lot of songs on here. Sha Na Na, but of course you have Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta singing, and anyway, great music, very cool soundtrack. Grease, yeah. Okay, now here's another group. I love the lead singer Rick Ocasek. I always loved his singing style, and but I love everything about this group. I love the music. I love the guitar work. The Cars. Very, very 80s music. The Cars. Although they put albums out like in the 90s and I think even the early 2000s. But anyway, The Cars. And what is this one? I think this is their first album, The Cars. Let's see. Let the Good Times Roll. My Best Friend's Girl. My Best Friend's Girlfriend. Just What I Needed. You're All I Got Tonight. Moving in Stereo. Well, I love that song, Moving in Stereo. But anyway, great music. And like I say, very 80s. This is one of the groups that sort of symbolized the 80s to me was The Cars. Yeah, great, great stuff. Okay. And on the vinyl show I did, we had Jake had joined me on that, and he showed his album of this. I don't know if I showed mine then or not, but anyway, great music. I love the song, but I just love this whole album. Men at Work. Australian group, Men at Work, and it's also got the Who Can It Be Now? And of course Down Under, the song Down Under, and what's it? Be Good Johnny, be good, be good, be good, be good, be good, be good, Johnny. Oh God, no wonder I don't have anybody here because I'm singing and I'm sounding horrible. But anyway, Men at Work. Yeah. And like I say, these are all original pressings. Okay, speaking of the 80s, another group that helped define that decade for me, and trying to think, the ending of The Sopranos. As you remember, I don't know if you have any. I don't know if there's any Sopranos fans out there, but the very last episode and the very ending of The Sopranos, and the screen just goes to black for several seconds. It's black, and a lot of people thought their TV was fucking up or something. But that's just the way they ended The Sopranos. But the song that was playing, "Don't Stop Believing," Journey. Yep. And this is the Escape album. And this is the one that's got that song on it, Don't Stop Believing. In fact, it's the first song on the album, Don't Stop Believing. Yep. But yeah, Journey and God, who was the lead singer? Was his name Perry? Richard Perry? What was the lead singer's name? I don't know. Hang on. He left the group and was replaced by a guy that sings exactly like him. But hang on. Hang on. Steve Perry. I said Richard Perry. Steve Perry. Yeah, great. Another soprano voice, very high pitched. Great singing though. Great band. Great music. Yeah. Journey. Yeah. And I like to say this is the Escape album. Yeah. Okay. Uh, Another group, just great music, great guitar work. The Edge, just a fantastic guitarist. The Edge, and of course the lead singer Bono. U2. This is the October album. Uh, and what is it? Bono is the vocals. The Edge is the guitars and piano. Adam Clayton is the bass, and the drums. It just says Larry. So, but anyway, yeah, great. Just musicians. Uh, U2, and yeah. Uh, okay, and I'm thinking that since I'm doing this by myself, this is not going to be as long as we usually go. We usually go a couple of hours. We may be just going a little over an hour for this one, because I don't know. I, I I like to have someone to bounce stuff off of, and I'm not getting that tonight. Now I'm uh, I'm hanging in there, and hopefully give you guys something entertaining to watch and give you some you know. I'm sure you've heard of most of these artists, but maybe there might be a few that you say, "Oh, okay, maybe I'll check them out, or check that person out, or check out that soundtrack, or whatever." Uh, but yeah, I need someone to talk to, bounce things off of. And we're not even getting people in here to comment on the video. I keep seeing one pop up, and then that will disappear. One will pop up, and then it'll be zero. Yeah. So, um, but we shall carry through. Uh, Now, this artist started off as a member of Genesis, but I think his best work is his solo stuff. And I don't know, his first like 4 or 5 albums were just called Peter Gabriel. They had no titles. They were just called Peter Gabriel. Um, so this one's got the Rhythm of the Heat, which is just great. Like I say, very atmospheric Rhythm of the Heat. Uh, and it builds up to this sort of epic drums, and it builds up to this epic crescendo at the end of it. Rhythm of the Heat. But it's got San Jacinto, I Have the Touch, Shock the Monkey, da, 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 da. Shock the Monkey, yeah. Lay Your Hands on Me, Wallflower, Kiss of Life. But anyway, yeah, Peter Gabriel, great solo artist, uh, and a great musician. Um, he did a lot of experimenting with sounds on his albums, and got great musicians to perform music. Yeah, to perform on his albums. But I love Peter Gabriel. Love his music. Very atmospheric. A lot of it. Uh, his album Soul got real popular. Sledgehammer. I want to be your sledgehammer. And that had just a lot of great songs on it. But anyway, like I say, it might have been until that album Soul. Every album was just called Peter Gabriel. So, but anyway, great musician, great uh, singer, great songwriter, just great stuff. Uh, okay, let's see. Okay, another fun one. Uh, I ain't going to say a whole lot about this. Twisted Sister. Yeah, Twisted Sister. Uh, we're not going to take it. No, we ain't going to take it. We're not going to take it anymore. And it's got Stay Hungry. Great song. I love that song. Stay Hungry. Burning Hell. Uh, I Want to Rock. Uh, and it's got a song, Captain Howdy. Well, of course, Captain Howdy is what Linda Blair called the demon on The Exorcist. She called it Captain Howdy. Well, he's got a song called Captain Howdy on this album. And what was that movie that he made? D. Snyder, where he had the character called Captain Howdy. But anyway, Twisted Sister. I mean, what can you say? Fun music. We're not going to take it. And Stay Hungry. And yeah. Fun, just fun rock and roll. Yeah, Twisted Sister. Well, now, this is an album that pretty much everybody had. And no matter what you think your opinion of disco is, this was, everybody got this album. And I still love this album. I don't listen to a lot of disco, but I still listen to Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. Yep. Bee Gees, of course. There they are. There's the Bee Gees. Anyway, just still really good music. Very, very uplifting. And it'll if you're in a bad mood, put on the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, and it'll take you out of your bad mood. Yeah. Still fun music, and like I say, yeah, I don't listen to a lot of disco, but I still listen to this album, and I think it's still a great album. Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Well, here's a fun one. I'm a big fan of what is it? Rocky Horror Picture Show. I know every song on that album and on that soundtrack. Saw it several times when I was talking about Denton, where I went to North Texas State University. Well, anyway, the town in Rocky Horror Picture Show in the movie is called Denton. So the town of Denton, Texas, obviously they're going to show Rocky Horror Picture Show. They had a 4-screen theater up there, and one of the screens was reserved for the Rocky Horror Picture Show on Saturday nights, usually midnight. Rocky Horror Picture Show. Well, anyway, similar to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I saw this at the same theater as the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And it started off as a Roger Corman movie back in the 60s. But then it was later turned into a musical in like was it 80s, early 90s? Little Shop of Horrors. There's Audrey too. Yeah. And hang on. And Rick Moranis. And who is it that plays Audrey? What's her name? Ellen Green. Yeah. Ellen Green. But feed me Seymour, feed me all night long. And then old Steve Martin as the dentist. He's just great, Steve Martin. I think he might have got an Academy Award nomination for that movie. I'm not sure, but I think he might have. He didn't win, but Little Shop of Horrors. A lot of fun. And I kind of put it up there with Rocky Horror Picture Show in its sort of style, and it's, sort of a horror movie kind of feel to it, and great puppetry. The Audrey too, but anyway, Little Shop of Horrors. A lot of real fun music. Okay, hang on here. I'm going to have to cover up some more nudity. At least this is an adult lady. He's got some titties there, but I'm covering up the titties. Or the nipples anyway. Supertramp. Yeah, Supertramp. And this collection, when my friend Mark passed away, I got his record collection. And this is one that I got. Supertramp. And this is the indelibly stamped album. And anyway, that was back in the day, they were just there on the record shelves. You'd have, nudity, bare ass and ladies' boobs and stuff like that, just right there on the shelf, But anyway, Supertramp, he was a big fan of Supertramp. I wasn't as big of a fan of Supertramp, but great musicians and, British group. And yeah, and a lot of the songs I really like. But anyway, there's an album with the titties on the cover. So at least it wasn't an 11-year-old. It wasn't an 11-year-old girl. Okay, let's see. Hang on here. I've got this stack, and I'm going through this stack. And, okay, here's another fun one. And my friend Mark and I used to do these tapes. We used to do these, kind of goes back to the old radio shows from like the 40s. But that's what the Chet Cheddar show we did for National Public Radio was kind of an homage to those old radio shows. But we used to do shows just to entertain ourselves, just stuff that we just played. We played to ourselves and a few friends we had, but just something to do. And a lot of times, we would use, of course, soundtracks from just, there's nothing that we were airing publicly, so we didn't have to worry about copyrights or nothing. We were just doing it for ourselves. And a lot of times we use music from this. And this is the Friday the 13th album. And the cover is 3D. Because this album was put out when Friday the 13th Part 3 came out, which is a 3D movie. And it's got music from the first 3 movies. It's got soundtrack. Was it Henry Manfredini? Yeah. But anyway, great music, great soundtrack music from Friday the 13th. But anyway, in addition to this, let me see if it's in here. What came with this album? What came with this album was a pair of 3D specs. Yeah. And this is the red and blue 3D specs that you would put these 3D specs on to see the cover in 3D. There's Jason. You see him in 3D. Well, now, my issue with that is I'm half blind. I'm blind in my left eye. I just see very vague shapes and colors out of my left eye. So technically, I can't see in 3D. I certainly can't see in 3D with something like that, because that's the whole idea with the red and the blue, is that you have these 2 images and they would combine in your field of vision when you saw through the 2 lenses. Well, of course, that never worked for me because I can only see out of one eye, my right eye. So the 3D didn't work for me, but still love the music, and we used the music a lot as a soundtrack music to the stuff we would do, the tapes we would do, sort of very silly, characters we came up with, comedy tapes. We thought they were funny. I still think some of them are funny, but we would get very, graphic and curse and stuff like that. Stuff that you wouldn't want to air publicly, but But I still think some of that stuff is funny. But anyway, yeah, the Friday 13th. Okay, we may be winding up. Okay. Here's one that I'll show. Another what I would call fun music. More music that to me was big in the 80s and even the early 90s. Just a fun band, fun music, very catchy. Cheap Trick. And this is the Dream Police album, Cheap Trick. Now, I've got several Cheap Trick albums, and several of them are, that I inherited from Mark when he passed away. And yeah, Cheap Trick. But yeah, very catchy music. Another kind of band that if you're in a bad mood, put on some Cheap Trick and it'll pull you out of your funk. Cheap Trick, because it's just very upbeat music for the most part. Very catchy, a lot of fun. Yeah, Cheap Trick. Okay. Well, let's see. I don't know if this will be the last soundtrack. This may be the last thing I show for tonight. But anyway, this is something I've had people go, oh, I want that, I want that. You can't have it. And it's the soundtrack to Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. Freddy's Dead. No, not Freddy's Dead. Shit. Freddy's Revenge. Sorry. Freddy's Revenge. Yeah. Part 2. Original vinyl. I ain't got no reprints. I don't do that, reprint stuff where you get the new vinyl and you pay $50-$60 for them. These were what at most maybe $10, usually $6-7 for a vinyl record back then. But yeah, soundtrack to Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. And I've had people offer me money for it and stuff. Well, I'm not saying I wouldn't take it a certain price, so name your price. What would you give for this? Because it's in really good shape. I got it in a plastic sleeve here. What would you give me for this soundtrack to Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2? You could probably find it on eBay or something like that. Probably not have to pay a whole lot for it. I don't know. But let me know. Let me know. Okay. Okay, I think with that, I'm going to wind this up. Because, like I say, doing this by myself, it's just not the same. If my sister was here, we would easily go on for a couple of hours. Or if I had Jake with me, or someone to join me. But yeah, by myself, it's just not the same. But I try to entertain you folks and give you folks some cool stuff to see here, and music, and good music. Did more soundtracks this time, and stuff that it just, like I say, part of my growing up. I grew up. I'm 58, so I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and a lot of this stuff is from the 80s, and a lot of the soundtracks. I just played that stuff, just wore it out, playing soundtracks, and other stuff too, but a lot of soundtracks, and. So yeah, this has been. I've enjoyed this. Like I say, I haven't enjoyed it as much as I would if I had someone here with me, but I've still enjoyed this. Didn't have anyone commenting tonight. I see 0 on there. So yeah, this is. I understand. Like I said, oh God, let me see if my mouse is going to come back to me. Hang on. I got this from Temu, and it'll start malfunctioning on me. Hang on. Do I have it? Is it working? There it is. There it is. Okay. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I use a mouse. I don't like I'm using a laptop, but I hate the pad. I can't get that thing. I just I'm not dexterous on the pad thing, so I always use a mouse. And I got a new one from Timu. Well, not new. It's a couple of months old, but it'll work, and then it'll want to freeze up on me, and I've got to shut it on and off. But anyway, uh, I guess I'll wind this up. Is there anybody watching? If you are, now's the time to speak up. uh, I'm not seeing anyone in the room here, uh, so I guess not. But I want to thank everyone that's watching this later. Uh, please, like I say, please give us a thumbs up. Uh, this. I'm a little disappointed, because I wanted to do this with Kathy, and she had a lot that she wanted to show music wise. But like I say, I think what we'll do is we'll do like a hangout show, like I did, a few days ago from that hotel. We'll just do a show where we'll sort of hang out and just talk about whatever, and then she can show some of her music stuff then. But she's just not feeling good tonight. I hope you do feel good soon, Kathy. I hope you get over your allergies and all that's messing with you. Um, and I'm trying to think what else. I'm not sure what our next subject would be for being real. It may be just another hangout show. I've got some Timu stuff ordered, but it will probably be another like week before I would start getting some more of my Timu stuff. Whenever I get Timu stuff, I like to do a unpackaging. I do a show about that. Uh, but as far as what the actual subject for the next show will be, I don't know about that. I'll talk with Kathy, and maybe Jake would have an idea of what we could talk about. Uh, Sorry, Jake. I was hoping you'd be able to join me tonight. Sorry that you weren't able to join me. Uh, and Kathy, I hate that you weren't on here with me tonight. I was looking forward to doing this with you, but we got through it. And thank you guys for watching and tuning in. And please keep doing that. Uh, and if you have any ideas for a subject that we could cover, pretty much anything I'm open to anything. We talk, a lot about movies and music, but I mean, talk about books. Uh, I've got a PlayStation 3, but the controller's broke on it, and I haven't played it in a long time. I haven't got a PlayStation. No, it's a PlayStation 4. I don't have a PlayStation 5. I want to get one, but I don't have one. So as far as talking about video games, I could talk about older stuff, but I wouldn't be able to talk about the newer things right now. But yeah, we can talk about anything. Uh, any subject. I'm very into pop culture. I kind of see this as sort of a pop culture show. And to me, a pop culture is movies, music, video games, uh, old advertisements, old TV shows. Uh, we did a thing about scary TV, but I can talk about any kind of television. Any type of television show. Um, yeah, just if you have an idea on a subject we could cover, send me a message, let me know, or comment here. Um, and like I say, I'm open to any ideas. But okay, I guess I'm going to end this for now. This has been one of our shorter shows. It's about 8:20 here my time, so we didn't quite do an hour and a half, but pretty close. Um, and I've enjoyed it, even though I did this by myself. I still enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope you guys will keep coming back and yeah, give us a thumbs up, please. If you have any comments, let's hear from you. And I will see you guys soon. And thanks for watching.